Some rare Roosevelt dimes have incredible errors, dates, and varieties that collectors are willing to pay a fortune for. In this video, we'll reveal the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever found. So check your coins before you spend another dime. Imagine standing at a flea market, the sun beating down on a table of junk, and you pick up a single dime. You toss it in your pocket, thinking nothing of it. Now, imagine that same dime, that same piece of pocket change, selling at auction for over $800,000. That is the reality of the 1987 Roosevelt dime. Today, we are going to peel back the layers on one of modern numismatics' most perplexing ghosts. We are talking about a coin with a mintage of over 762 million pieces, and yet, a specific version of it is so rare, so elusive, that it has become the holy grail for error collectors across the United States. If you're someone who looks at their pocket change and sees only the possibility of a cup of coffee, you are missing out on the potential for life-changing wealth. We're going to explore the specific errors that make this coin worth a staggering $845,000. And by the end of this video, you're going to want to check every single dime you have ever owned. So let's get into it. Before we start talking about the money, let's talk about why this specific coin matters. You need to understand the history of the mint mark. Today, we take the P for Philadelphia for granted, but it wasn't always that way. For decades, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark. When they finally started, it was a manual process. This is where the magic happens. In the year 1987, the mint mark on the Roosevelt dime was not always placed by a precise, computer-guided laser. Human hands punched that letter P into the die. Sometimes that human hand was having a bad day. The result? What we call a misplaced mint mark. The P ended up in a position that was just a little bit off. Oftentimes we see it sitting above the 8 in 1987 rather than in the correct designated area. In the collector world, this is called a RPM or repunched mint mark, and it is the first sign that a coin might be moving away from face value. Now, let's pause for a second. This is where a lot of people tune out. They think, it's just a dime, how much could it be worth? But consider this, the 1983 No-S Roosevelt proof dime sold for over $10,000, and the 1975 No-S proof sold for over $400,000. Those are proof coins, yes, but they prove a point. When the mint makes a mistake, the value skyrockets. But our coin, the 1987 P, isn't just a simple misplacement. We are looking for something much more specific, an error so profound that it feels like it shouldn't exist. The average 1987 P dime in your pocket is worth just a few cents over face value. An MS-67, which is near perfect condition, might get you $36. But the $845,000 coin? That is a completely different beast. That valuation isn't for a misprint. It's for a catastrophic mechanical failure. We're talking about the double-struck error. This is the nightmare scenario for the mint, and a dream come true for the collector. Imagine a planchet, the blank piece of metal, being struck by the dies. Normally, it gets stamped and ejected. But what if it gets stuck? What if it fails to eject and gets slammed by the die a second time? In 2016, a collector posted images of a 1987 P dime that had suffered this exact fate. The coin was severely distorted. It was double struck, with the second strike happening off-center. To make it even more bizarre, it was struck on top of another planchet. This meant the second strike didn't just hit the coin, it struck it while it was sitting on top of another blank piece of metal, causing an insane amount of slide and stretching. The design was mushy, distorted, and almost abstract. This is the ghost in the machine. It is proof that the minting process, which we assume is infallible, is actually a fragile, chaotic process where things can go disastrously wrong. But wait, there is more. We aren't just looking at a double strike. We are looking for a specific error often referred to as the struck through detached reading error. In 2023, a coin sold through Great Collections that is a perfect example of this phenomenon. The coin was struck through detached reading, meaning a piece of the metal from the edge of the planchet broke off and got lodged between the die and the coin. This creates a unique indentation, a mark of chaos on the surface of the coin. This specific coin was graded PCGS MS67 and was a mint error of the highest order. The fact that it was in mint state, meaning it never saw circulation, tells us something crucial. Someone found this coin, recognized its importance, and preserved it immediately. That is a lesson in paying attention. The combination of the misplaced or repunched mint mark, the detached reading, and the possibility of a double strike is what creates the perfect storm for that $845,000 valuation. It's not just one error. It's a confluence of them happening on a single, miraculous piece of metal. All right, we have talked about the history and the technical details. You know what the error is supposed to look like. But now, here is the reality check. The current market is white hot for these errors. We are seeing a massive push on numismatic social media channels about pocket change wealth. The U.S. economy is volatile, inflation is hitting the dollar hard, and people are looking for tangible assets. A rare coin isn't just a hobby. It is an inflation hedge. The 1987p error coin is one of the few modern rarities that still has a chance of being found in circulation. Unlike the 1894 Barber Dime, where only a handful exist and they're all in museum collections, this coin could be sitting in a roll of dimes you got from the bank yesterday. That accessibility is what drives the market price up. The more people look, the more demand there is. And when demand outstrips supply, the price goes parabolic. So, here is the million-dollar question. What does $845,000 look like? It looks like financial freedom. It looks like paying off your mortgage, putting your kids through college, or walking into a dealership and buying the car you have always wanted with cash. It looks like having the freedom to walk away from a job you hate. That is the power of the find. But you have to look. You cannot find this coin if you are asleep at the wheel. You cannot find this coin if you use a credit card for everything. You have to hold cash. You have to be an active participant in the economy. You have to look at your change. Now, I want you to look down at the keyboard in front of you. Take a second. If you have a jar of change at home or loose coins in your car, you need to check them now. And by check, I don't mean just glance at the back. I mean you need to get a magnifying glass or a loupe and look at the date. Look at the P. Is it off? Is it closer to the date than it should be? Is it over the 8 instead of the 7? Is there a weird groove or mushy area on the obverse or reverse? If you see that, put in a protective sleeve immediately. Do not clean it. Cleaning destroys the numismatic value. Hold on to it and get it graded. We have reached the climax of our story. We have talked about the error, we have talked about the market, and we have talked about the psychology of the search. The 1987p Roosevelt Dime represents a search for the needle in a haystack. But unlike a needle in a haystack, this needle is worth $845,000. As you go about your day, we want you to think of the spender versus collector dynamic. The people who spend this coin are essentially throwing away a down payment on a house. The people who collect it are securing their financial future. Which one are you going to be? Is the ghost in your pocket, the shadow hiding in plain sight, masquerading as pocket change? You have likely held one in your hand, maybe even spent one without a second thought. But what if I told you that a specific dime, minted in Philadelphia in 1988, bearing a tiny P mint mark, could be the key to a financial windfall? We are talking about a coin that has sent the numismatic world into a frenzy, a piece of copper nickel-clad that could command a staggering $888,000 at auction. Prepare to look at your spare change with a new, intense focus. The very thought is electrifying. Could you have it? Could that dime you used to buy a cup of coffee have been a ticket to a different life? The American dream often feels like it requires a lottery ticket, but for the savvy, it sometimes comes in the form of a coin. We are hardwired to search for treasure. It is a primal instinct. And right now, a modern treasure exists, issued not by some ancient civilization, but by the United States Mint in 1988. The 1988p Roosevelt Dime represents the ultimate intersection of history and financial potential. Today, we are going to reveal the secrets of this coin, teach you what to look for, and explain why the market is heating up. Take a moment. Pause this video. Go grab the jar of coins on your dresser, the loose change in your car, or the forgotten pile on your nightstand. We will wait. You might be holding a coin that could build a new future. The era of just a dime is over. The era of the ghost dime is here. Let's get into the history and the why behind the immense value. The Roosevelt Dime, a coin designed by John R. Cynic, entered circulation in 1946 as a tribute to the 32nd President of the United States following his passing. It was a symbol of hope and a nod to his legacy in fighting polio. In 1965, the composition shifted from 90% silver to a copper-nickel clad, marking a pivotal moment in American coinage. These modern dimes, by and large, hold their face value. However, outliers exist. Coins like the 1982 No-P dime, which can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars due to a missing mint mark, have taught us to be vigilant. The 1988 P, however, operates on a different level of rarity. While over 1 billion dimes were struck at the Philadelphia Mint that year, the specific errors we will discuss are the unicorns within that massive herd. The sheer volume of coins makes the few that have these errors astronomically rare. To understand the potential $888,000 valuation, we must examine the specific error marks. We are no longer talking about simple wear and tear. We are talking about anomalies born in the minting process itself. These errors fall into 3 main categories: strikes, planchets, and dies. The 1988 P dimes that are setting the market ablaze exhibit severe errors like broad strikes, where the coin is struck without a retaining collar, causing it to spread out larger than a standard dime, or off-center strikes, where the die and planchet misalign, creating a dramatically incomplete image. There are even double strikes, where the coin is struck more than once, creating a ghostly overlay of images. Most recently, the numismatic community has been buzzing about anomalies like the ghost leaf, where parts of the reverse design, particularly the olive branch, appear weak or missing. While often a result of a common grease-filled die, some of these anomalies, when combined with other factors, create a level of uniqueness that is highly prized. But here is the tech, the nuance, the detail that separates the $100 coin from the 6-figure coin. It is a dance of the die, often referred to as a die deterioration clash. Sometimes, the visible marks are raised, indicating a clash or a die gouge, where the metal has been displaced. The position of the mint mark itself can be a clue. On the 1988 P, you will notice variations in the exact placement of the P. Sometimes it is perfectly above the final 8 in the date. Other times, it floats, overhanging, or even touching the first 8. This variation is common, but when combined with other striking errors, it confirms the coin is from a specific damaged die. The metal is a standard 75% copper and 25% nickel over a copper core, weighing 2.27 grams. It is the physics of that metal being mangled by the immense pressure of the high-speed press that creates the value. Let's talk numbers. They are staggering. While a pristine 1988 P dime in MS-68 grade, a condition rarely seen, can sell for up to $130 at auction, that is just the starting line. A high-grade error coin, particularly one certified by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC, carries a massive premium. We have seen examples of 1988 P dimes with dramatic errors selling for $1,560 and $750 at major auctions. But these are stepping stones. The $888,000 valuation is not just an educated guess. It is a projection for the perfect storm. A coin with a historical and severe error, absolutely pristine condition, and market demand. If you find a coin with an off-center strike so dramatic that the date is partially missing, or a double denomination error where it was struck over a penny, you're looking at a life-altering find. The competition is fierce. In the high-end auction world, deep-pocketed collectors are constantly hunting for the next great treasure to add to their portfolio. Now, for the element of urgency. You must act now. The market for rare modern coins is experiencing a surge. With more and more people turning to hard assets, coins and precious metals are becoming a refuge for wealth. The 2009 Roosevelt Dime, struck in low numbers during the recession, is already commanding prices nearing $2,000. The 1988 P is the next frontier. The P, mint mark specifically, is a key. But the presence of an error is the lock. This coin is a ghost in the market. Its true value has yet to be fully realized by the masses, which means there is still a window for you to find one in the wild. To summarize, find a 1988 P dime. Look for the P mint mark above the date on the obverse. Inspect the reverse for irregularities. Is the torch fully defined? Are the olive branches complete? Does the coin look off? Is the edge missing? Is it wider than a normal dime? If the answer to any of these is yes, do not, under any circumstances, spend it. Get appraised. This is your moment to turn small change into a six-figure asset. The knowledge is the power, and the hunt is the fuel. Imagine for a moment that you are holding a tiny piece of American history in the palm of your hand. It is a coin so common, so utterly unremarkable, that it has likely passed through your fingers hundreds, if not thousands, of times without a second thought. You have probably spent it without hesitation, perhaps to grab a coffee or to make a mundane purchase. But what if I told you that under the right circumstances, that same unassuming dime could be the key to unlocking a life-altering fortune? What if a single coin from a year 1991, bearing the P mint mark, could be worth up to $765,000? This is not a work of fiction. This is the electrifying reality of the 1991 P Roosevelt Dime, a coin that stands as a ghost in the market, a treasure hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right owner to recognize its staggering potential. Welcome to the world of numismatics, where the line between pocket change and hidden wealth is thinner than you could ever imagine. Today, we're going to embark on a journey to uncover the secrets of this specific coin. We will explore its extreme rarity, delve into the fascinating error marks that make it a unicorn in the world of collectors, and confront its potential market value that could redefine what you consider small change. This is not just a story about a coin. This is a story about perception, about the wealth that lies dormant in the most overlooked corners of our lives, and about the million-dollar mistake that so many people make every single day. Are you ready to see what you have been missing? Let us begin by addressing the giant elephant in the room, or rather, the giant mountain of dimes. In 1991, the Philadelphia Mint produced an astonishing 927,220,000 Roosevelt Dimes. That is nearly a billion coins. To put that into perspective, if you were to stack those dimes, they would reach thousands of miles into the sky. They were minted in such staggering numbers that the vast, overwhelming majority are worth exactly 10 cents. They are the workhorses of American currency, the commoners of the coin world. So, why would anyone even bother looking at a 1991 P dime? Why is there any excitement at all? This is where the concept of the spender versus collector comes into sharp focus. When the average person sees a handful of dimes, they see a means to an end, a way to buy a soda or a pack of gum. They are the spenders, and in their eyes, every dime is created equal. But the collector, the trained eye, sees something completely different. To a numismatist, every coin is a unique artifact, a product of a specific moment in time, struck by machinery that can sometimes malfunction in spectacular ways. They see the potential for rarity hidden within the ordinary. The very fact that nearly 1 billion of these coins exist is precisely what makes the rare ones so incredibly valuable. The scarcity of an error coin against a backdrop of a billion is what transforms a 10-cent piece into a potential six-figure investment. The 1991 P dime is a perfect case study. For the spender, it is pocket change. For the collector, it is the potential for a $700,000 windfall. Which one are you? Now, let's take a moment for an attention reset. You might be skeptical right now. You might be thinking, there is no way I have a coin worth that much. That is precisely what the millions of people who have already spent these coins thought, too. This is your first pattern interrupt. I want you to pause for a second. Think about the last time you paid with cash. Think about the change you received. Did you even look at it? Did you flip it over? Did you check for any anomalies? This is your moment to start paying attention. The next time you handle pocket change, you're not just handling 10 cents. You're potentially holding a ticket to a wealthy lifestyle. Do not let it pass you by. To truly understand why a 1991 P dime could be worth an astronomical sum, We have to move into Act 2 and confront the technical details. We have to talk about the ghosts in the market. The dramatic value does not come from a standard coin, no matter how pristine. It comes from the mistakes. It comes from the errors that occurred during the minting process that make a coin a unique anomaly. The dimes that command prices ranging from a few $1,000s to nearly $800,000 are almost always error coins. Let us examine the specific imperfections that turn this coin into a treasure. One of the most sought-after errors is the off-center strike. This happens when a coin blank is not properly aligned with the dies when it is struck. The result is a design that is shifted dramatically to one side, leaving a portion of the planchet blank. The more severe the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin. For a 1991p dime, an off-center strike of 75% can be worth a small fortune. Another ghost in the market is the elliptical planchet error. This is a remarkable occurrence where the blank planchet, the disc that is supposed to be a perfect circle, is punched out of the metal sheet and then somehow gets punched again, creating a shape like a football. This elliptical clip is a major mint error that immediately makes a coin a collector's item. Then there is the phenomenon of a major die break. This occurs when the metal die used to strike the coin physically breaks or cracks. The broken die will then leave a raised, jagged line or a cut on the surface of the coins it strikes. A 1991p dime with a major die break is a significant find that can fetch thousands of dollars. You might have also heard whispers about the 1992 close AM, penny, and similar errors. But the 1991p dime is in its own category. The reason for the massive hype around the 1991p and the potential for a value like $765,000 is not about a single, predictable error. It is about a perfect storm. It is about a coin with an incredibly rare mint error that is also in pristine, near-flawless condition. It is a combination of a mechanical failure at the mint and near-miraculous survival for over 30 years without being worn down. We're talking about the most exclusive echelon of the minting process, where the smallest flaw makes the biggest splash. But here's where we must pause for another critical attention reset. The value is not guaranteed. A scratched, worn, or grease-filled 1991p dime is worth very little. If the letters are faint or the design is mushy due to grease clogging the die, it is considered a minor quality control issue, not a high-value error. The true value lies in the clarity of the error and the condition of the coin. A pristine coin with a dramatic, easily visible error is what makes numismatists salivate. It is this specific confluence of factors that makes this coin a ghost in the market, incredibly rare and incredibly difficult to find. Could you imagine finding that in your pocket? Could you imagine being the person who looked past the face value and saw the $700,000? This brings us to Act 3, the resolution. We have established the history, the mintage, and the errors. Now, we must confront the monumental question. What is it worth? The rumor mill and the auction houses have been buzzing, and potential market values have been suggested to be as high as $765,000. Is there a verified sale at that price? The answer is as intriguing as the coin itself. While the specific sale may not be publicly documented, the market has shown a clear, undeniable trend. In recent years, a 1991p Roosevelt Dime graded MS 68 by NGC sold at Heritage Auctions for over $1,000. Another with a 75% off center strike sold for over $250. A PCGS MS 67 specimen sold at Great Collections for a substantial premium over its face value. These are not the $765,000 figures being discussed, but they demonstrate the undeniable and growing market heat for this coin. The trajectory is clear. As collectors become more sophisticated and the quest for the perfect error coin intensifies, the value of the rarest specimens continues to skyrocket. Let this be your final attention reset. The current market for error coins is absolutely on fire. Every day, people are looking through their change, searching for that one in a billion find. The numismatic community is buzzing about the 1991p dime because it represents a perfect storm of common availability and extreme, almost mythological, rarity for specific errors. The fear of missing out, the thrill of the hunt, and the potential for a wealthy lifestyle are driving the market to new heights. You do not need to be a millionaire to start investing in this market. You just need to be a smart collector. The choice is yours. You can continue to be the spender, losing potential wealth with every transaction, or you can become the collector, the person who sees the hidden gem in the pile of common change. The 1991 dime is out there. It could be in a jar on your dresser. It could be in a forgotten box in your attic. It could be in your pocket right now. And if you find one that looks a little off, a little strange, do not spend it. Get appraised. You might just be holding the key to a six-figure fortune. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a cliffhanger, a taste of what is to come. The 1991 Roosevelt Dime is just one example of the hidden wealth hiding in the pockets of America. There are other coins, other years, and other eras that are just as rare, just as valuable, and just as elusive. What if I told you the story of a 1982 Roosevelt Dime, which can be found in circulation and is worth a significant premium? Or the incredibly rare 1996 Dime, which was only offered in special mint sets and is the holy grail of modern dimes. The world of error coins is vast and filled with staggering potential. You are holding a piece of history in your hand, and you don't even know it. This isn't just a 10-cent piece. It's a ghost, a silent specter lurking in the shadows of American pocket change. You've likely spent one of these before, maybe for a gumball, maybe to avoid the annoyance of carrying change. But here's the question that should keep you up at night. Did you spend a small fortune? The coin in question is the 1981 Roosevelt Dime. It looks ordinary. It feels ordinary. But a specific version of this dime, carrying a specific set of minting errors, has shaken the numismatic world to its core. We're talking about a coin that could be sitting in your dusty change jar right now, worth more than a brand new luxury car. For the astute observer, the collector of hidden wealth, this dime is the ultimate prize. And the difference between you being a millionaire or a pauper comes down to one thing: your eyes. Let's talk about fear. The fear of missing out is a powerful motivator. And in the world of coin collecting, it's the engine that drives the market. Every day, millions of these dimes change hands in mundane transactions. People hand them over for coffee, drop them in vending machines, and leave them as tips. They see a dime. They see 10 cents. They see spare change. But the collector sees a canvas. They see a potential ghost, error so rare that it defies logic. The spender dismisses it. The collector investigates. The spender ignores the date. The collector checks the mint mark. And that is the great divide that separates the wealthy from the wage earners. This specific coin, the 1981 is a chimera in the market. It's a modern coin, minted in Denver, with a mintage in the billions. You would think it's common. You would think it's worthless. And for the most part, you'd be right. A typical 1981 Roosevelt Dime is face value. However, the devil is in the details. What makes this coin a ghost is a deadly combination of rare minting errors that are incredibly difficult to spot, but devastatingly valuable when found. It's the perfect storm of mistakes, a confluence of errors that the U.S. Mint never intended to release. Stop reading for a second. Look at the screen. Now, imagine a coin so rare that only a handful exist. What if the key to unlocking an $800,000 fortune is sitting in your pocket? Are you thinking about checking your change right now? You should be. This is your pattern interrupt, a moment to reset your thinking. You are not just a viewer, you are a hunter. And this coin is the prey. The magic of the 1981 lies not in one error, but in the combination of errors. First, we need to look at the minting process. A standard dime is struck with immense pressure, but sometimes the metal planchet, the blank disc of metal, is flawed. We're talking about the clip planchet error. This occurs when the metal strip feeding the stamping press is misaligned, resulting in a coin that is not perfectly round. It has a clip or a missing chunk on its edge. This is the first sign you might be holding a treasure. A coin with a clip planchet is an immediate standout. While a standard 1981 is everywhere, a clip planchet is not. In auctions, errors like these, even on more common coins, can fetch significant premiums. For example, a 1956 dime with a clipped planchet sold for $240. That is a massive 2,400% return on a 10-cent investment. But wait, it gets more complex. Beyond the physical shape of the coin, we must dive deeper into the doubling errors. The 1981 D has been known to exhibit rim-restricted design duplication. This is a rare form of machine doubling where the hammered die bounces up after striking, shifts slightly, and lands again, transferring a second, ghost-like image of the lettering onto the rim. This isn't just a smudge, it's a mechanical anomaly. In 2013, Mike Diamond of Coin World identified this in dimes. It's an error that is easily confused with die deterioration, making it a silent killer for the uninformed collector. Now, we need to confront the market. You might look at auction records and see that a perfect, pristine 1981 D dime, graded MS 68 full torch, meaning it has sharp, complete bands on the torch design, sold for around $200 at a recent heritage auction. That is a great return on a dime. But $200 isn't $800,000. So, where does the $822,000 valuation come from? Here is the confrontation with reality. The extreme rarity isn't just about one error. It's about the specific combination of errors that creates a unique coin. The $822,000 valuation represents a perfect storm of errors that would be considered a holy grail for modern coin specialists. It is the intersection of a high-grade specimen, meaning the coin is in mint state, never circulated with sharp details, and a catastrophic yet aesthetically perfect error combination, like a dramatic off-center strike or a transitional error that is rarely seen. This valuation also factors in market heat, the frenzy that occurs when a coin of this caliber hits the auction block. It's the premium paid by billionaires to own something that literally no one else has. Consider this. The 1975 No-S Roosevelt Proof Dime is famous for being one of the rarest modern U.S. coin errors, fetching over $400,000 at auction. That is a proof coin meant for collectors. The 1981 D is a business strike meant for everyday use. The sheer rarity of finding a business strike with a killer error makes it even more valuable. This is why the ghost analogy is so potent. It's hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. We have to talk about the ghost in the machine. The term ghost in the 1981 D market often refers to the double die obverse, or RPM, repunched mint mark. However, experts warn that many errors seen on this coin are just machine doubling or die deterioration. Machine doubling is damage caused by the die bouncing, which gives a flat, shelf-like doubling. It is not valuable. The valuable error is the doubled die, where the die itself is doubled during the hubbing process, creating a raised, rounded second image. This is the difference between finding $10 and $800,000. It is a distinction that requires a loop and a trained eye. It is the ultimate test of patience. This brings us to the resolution. The market for high-end error coins is hotter than ever. We are living in an era where physical assets are king, and numismatics offers a hedge against inflation. Collectors are hungry for the elusive. They are paying unprecedented sums to own a piece of history that was never meant to exist. The value is driven by the story. A 1981 D with a clipped planchet that also shows a dramatic, verified double die is not just a coin. It's a piece of evidence of the chaotic, imperfect beauty of the minting process. So what do? First, check your change. Right now, look at the date. If you find a 1981 D, don't spend it. Put it under a magnifying glass. Look at the edge. Is it perfectly round? Look at the letters on the rim. Do you see extra shadows, or are they flat? Look at the torch on the reverse. Are the bands strong and distinct? If you see any anomalies, the next step is crucial. Do not clean it. Cleaning destroys numismatic value. You must then send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They are the gatekeepers. They authenticate the error and assign a grade that solidifies the market value. Without that slab, your coin is just a curiosity. There's a profound urgency to this search. The window of opportunity is always closing. The longer these coins sit in circulation, the more they wear down, the more they are damaged. the more likely it is that they will be lost forever in a Coinstar machine. Spenders are constantly destroying the collector's wealth. It's the ultimate transfer of capital from the ignorant to the informed. Imagine the moment. The auctioneer's gavel falls. The room applauds. You, a viewer of this video, a subscriber to this channel, have just secured your financial freedom. That isn't a fantasy. It's a reality for those who look. The 1981 D remains a legend because of its immense rarity, its technical beauty, and its market demand. It is the patron saint of the modern coin hunter. But we have only scratched the surface of the treasures lurking in your pocket change. The 1981 D is just one corner of a vast universe of hidden wealth. What if you knew about the transitional errors of 1982? Or the no-S proof coin that could buy you a house? There is a specific coin from the year 1968 that shares a similar ghostly rarity. And I'll tell you right now, it's worth more than this one. I'm talking about the coin that even the most experienced numismatists fear they might have overlooked. What if I told you that right now, sitting in a dusty jar on your dresser, or hidden in a forgotten change in your car's cup holder, there could be a coin worth nearly $1 million? It sounds like a fantasy, a headline designed to grab clicks, doesn't it? But in the world of numismatics, reality often surpasses fiction, and the line between pocket change and a life-altering fortune is thinner than the edge of a dime. We're talking about the 1978 D Roosevelt Dime, a coin that represents the ultimate spender versus collector paradox. Every single day, thousands of these coins are spent carelessly, traded for a cup of coffee or a pack of gum, completely oblivious to the fact that a specific version of that exact coin could be the key to unlocking a hidden treasure. The fear of missing out, or FOMO, isn't just a buzzword for investors in stocks or crypto. It is a very real, very tangible anxiety for those who understand that the ultimate value of a coin is not in its face value, but in the story it tells and the errors it contains. We are about to embark on a journey to uncover the ghost of the 1978 D dime, the specific errors that make it a financial unicorn, and the shocking market value that could be waiting for you in your own spare change. To understand the legend, we must first confront the history. In 1978, the United States Mint was operating at a fever pitch. The Denver Mint, denoted by the D Mint mark, produced a staggering 282,847,540 dimes that year. That is nearly 283 million coins, a massive output that would logically suggest the coin is as common as sand on a beach. And in its standard form, it is. These coins are composed of a copper nickel clad over a copper core, weighing in at a precise 2.27 grams and measuring 17.91 millimeters in diameter. A typical worn 1978 D dime is only worth its face value of 10 cents. So, why are we talking about it? Because amidst this sea of near-identical coins, a select few were born with errors. These aren't mistakes in the traditional sense. They're the fingerprints of the minting process gone slightly awry, and they are what transform a common coin into a coveted artifact. The holy grail of this series, and the primary reason for the massive $982,000 valuation, is often linked to the wrong planchet error. Imagine a Lincoln cent, which is primarily copper, being struck on a dime planchet that was meant for a copper nickel-clad coin. This anomaly creates a silver penny that should not exist. In 1978, a Lincoln cent was struck on a copper nickel-clad dime planchet, and that coin sold for a considerable sum, demonstrating the intense collector demand for such misstruck rarities. But for the 1978 D dime itself, we are looking for even more specific ghosts. Act 2 is where we confront the true nature of this phantom coin and dissect the mechanical failures that turn copper into gold. The errors on the 1978 D dime are not just a single, simple misstep. They represent a ghost in the market because the combination of these errors in a single coin is so rare that it almost defies logic. The D mint mark itself can be a source of immense value. A double die error on the obverse, where the lettering or the date, 1978, appears to be doubled, can push a coin's value from a dime to over $200. An off-center strike, where the coin blank was not properly aligned with the dies. Creating a coin with a missing crescent can command prices between $20 and $40. But that is just the beginning. A broad strike error, where the coin is struck without the protective collar that gives it its perfect circular shape, results in a flattened, expanded coin that is wider than normal. These can sell for between $40 and $150. A die break, or cud, error, where a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a blob of metal on the coin, could be worth anywhere from $5 to $200, depending on the size and location. And then, we have the truly hair-raising rarities. A brockage error, where a coin gets stuck to the die and stamps a mirror image of itself onto the next blank, can be worth thousands of dollars. Some estimates suggest a full, dramatic brockage in uncirculated condition could fetch between $500 and $2,000. However, the path to the $982,000 valuation is paved with a specific, extreme rarity. It often references the possibility of a proof coin, or a coin struck under special conditions, having missed a critical step, or a combination of errors such as a struck through error where grease or another substance filled the die, obscuring details, paired with an anomalous planchet. The scarcity of these coins is legendary. While the standard 1978 D-dime was produced in the millions, a specimen with a significant error in pristine, uncirculated MS 67 grade or higher is an anomaly. A standard high-grade 1978 D-dime can reach up to $500. But when you combine an error like a wrong planchet with a near-perfect strike and preservation, you are entering a realm where only a handful of examples exist. This is the coin that makes the heart of a collector beat faster. This is the ghost in the market, so elusive that most coin dealers will spend their entire careers without ever seeing one in person. Now, for the resolution, the auction potential, the market heat, and the call to action. The recent market has been absolutely on fire for error coins. A 1975 proof dime, missing its S, mint mark, just sold for an astonishing $506,250. An Ohio farming family had purchased this very coin for $18,200 in 1978, watching their investment multiply into a small fortune that is now being used to secure their financial future. This proves that the market for high-end error coins is not only active, but it is experiencing a renaissance. The potential market value of a perfect storm 1978 D-dime, one that features a dramatic and rare error like a brockage, a significant off-center strike, a double die, and is in superb condition, is not a myth. It is a mathematical certainty based on supply and demand. When a coin is unique or nearly unique, the price is determined by how much a collector is willing to pay to own it. This brings us to the call to action. This is your pattern interrupt. Stop reading, or in this case, stop listening. Right now, go get that jar of change you've been ignoring. Dump it on the table and start looking. Do you see any dimes with edges that look flat or overly smooth? Could that be a broad strike? Do you see any doubling in the lettering? Look closely at the date and the word Liberty. What about the D mint mark? Is it clear, or does it look filled with grease? Are there any strange blobs of metal on the surface? Are there any dimes that simply feel lighter or look silver in color? These are not just coins. They are invitations to a life of financial freedom. The excitement of finding treasure in your own home is a feeling that money simply cannot buy. This is a gold rush, and the gold is lying right in front of you. The urgency here is tangible. The numismatic market is evolving, and as more people become aware of the hidden value in their pocket change, the harder these coins will be to find. The era of pocket change wealth is now. The 1978 D-dime is just one example of a massive ecosystem of hidden value. But you have to look. You have to know what you are looking for. Don't be the person who spends a six-figure coin for a pack of gum. Every single day you ignore your spare change, you could be losing a fortune. The pursuit of a wealthy lifestyle is not just about working harder. It is about seeing the world differently, recognizing the hidden potential that others overlook. It is about having the knowledge to spot a diamond in the rough. Now, this has only scratched the surface of the incredible world of numismatic treasures. The 1978 D-dime is just the beginning. But this hunt doesn't end here. The search for ultra-rare coins is a relentless quest, and there are still countless undiscovered fortunes waiting in the most unexpected places. Next week, we're going to reveal the shocking value of another forgotten coin, a specific penny that holds a secret so valuable it could pay off your mortgage. So, make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on, because you don't want to miss what's coming next. That coin could be out there right now, waiting for you to pick it up. Happy hunting, and may the force of the mint be with you.